Hello all, this is the Casual Noob Gamer back at you with another video. Oh yeah, video, let's go. So, I am here to talk about my predictions for the Mario 40th anniversary celebration that is coming up. So, if we go off of what's been done pretty much in the past, how Nintendo has celebrated these anniversaries. Now, usually with Nintendo, they like to do stuff differently. They don't always do the same thing. But when it comes to these anniversaries, people kind of get very, what I call, pie in the sky, very high hopes that, oh, they're going to release this new game and that new game, and then this is coming. Usually, if you look at what they've done with like Mario and Zelda anniversaries, they usually re-release old games, sometimes with a little new stuff on it, like in 2020 for the Mario 35th anniversary. We got Mario 3D World, which originally was a Wii U game, and they ported it over to the Switch, and then they added an extra kind of smaller game with it, which was called Bowser's Fury. That was something brand new, completely 3D art style, open world, like very small kind of Mario game. And then they also re-released three Mario 3D games, which was Mario 64, which came out on the N64, Mario Sunshine, which came out on the GameCube, and then Mario Galaxy 1, which came out on the Wii. So those were in order the games, the 3D Mario games that came out. The fourth one that people said, where is it, was Mario Galaxy 2, which was obviously the sequel to Mario Galaxy, which was originally released on the Wii. But that game pretty much mostly relied on not completely, it's just the motion controls were very baked into the game and the gameplay. And a lot of times when motion controls are in games, I mean, we've seen Zelda Skyward Sword that was very much with the Wii Motion Plus, and different directions that you swung the Wii remote was the direction Freudian slip there, direction that they moved the sword for Link, so you could move diagonally up, down, left, right, and that direction was the direction that sometimes you had to specifically either hit an enemy, or there were puzzles with doors where you had to hold your sword and an eyeball would follow your sword wherever it was moved to, and you would have to like go in circles and make the eyeball get dizzy and just like knock it out that way. So, and then Metroid Prime 3, which was originally on the Wii, had motion controls. And I know they re-released the trilogy on the Wii and technically the Wii U for the Metroid Prime trilogy, which they haven't brought 2 and 3 over to the Switch yet. And people, I think, I saw people say, because I have the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii, but I haven't tried Metroid Prime 3 on that. But I imagine since that was originally a Wii game, then also a lot of that gameplay is, stuck into the motion controls. Now, they on Skyward Sword for Zelda on the Switch, they got those motion controls off of there and made that game work with just a controller to make it feasible to be ported over to the Switch, which originally they said it would be very hard to do, but they found a way to make it work. And I've played it, and it works, very, very well, for what they're trying to do. So that may be the difficulty, that they couldn't get Galaxy 2 on there. But that also leans into my hypothesis of what they're going to do for the 40th anniversary. Now, the last game that they released of a re-release of Mario games was Mario 3D All-Stars, and that was a limited edition release. They never gave a reason why it was limited, but they said for the anniversary they're making it limited. They stopped production of it after, I think, about 6 months, but you were able to find it in stores still because there was ample stock at retailers still. But right now that game is being sold by GameStop as, I believe, used at, originally it retailed for $60, I want to say, if I remember correctly, and GameStop is selling it used for $100 or $120, which GameStop has been known to do stuff like that. So, yeah, if you weren't around at the time and you couldn't get it, then it's gone. I'm sorry. Unless you want to pay, what they call scalper prices, for it. But I personally feel that what they also did with that, just to get into a little history of that, is that those games like Mario 64, they at the time, they didn't have the N64 app on the Nintendo Switch Online. So when they released the N64 app, there's very few N64 games that I think they had access to that would make the service worth it. So I think they took Mario 64 off of sale because they wanted, if you didn't have it, for you to be able to access it only through what is actually their expansion pass for their NSO, which is a higher price tier. So they would rather you have to pay a subscription service to get access to the game. And that would be, because it's kind of like they would cannibalize their own sales if they had it on a subscription service and they were selling the game for you to own. Some people might opt for the subscription, some people might opt for the sale. So it kind of eats into each other. And right now with the GameCube Nintendo Switch Online that they just recently released with Switch 2, I believe Mario Sunshine was confirmed in the video they showed to be coming. It's not there yet, but it's going to be coming. And you got to imagine that eventually they're going to do an NSO for the Wii and maybe even the Wii U. That might be something way down the road. But if they do that, then Galaxy would be there. So one of my predictions that I think we're going to see for the Mario 40th is we saw on the Mario 35th anniversary, Mario 3D All-Stars. I think on the Mario 40th, we're going to see Mario 4K All-Stars because the Switch 2 can do 4K. So I think they're going to get these Mario 3D games that they released originally, the 3 games, they're going to get them to 4K, which is why also they might not want to have that original release there because they already planned on bringing a 4K version. And then also, because the number 4 is there in the title, you would want to give 4 Mario 3D version games. And the 4th game that they didn't release was Mario Galaxy 2, which if you own the original 3D All-Stars collection, then you don't have that 4th game. So the people who bought that collection would buy this collection. And if they also make it limited, because they may want to in the future either do something with it or make it like special as part of the anniversary to celebrate this time, and then they also may be putting it as part of their subscription service later if they do a Wii NSO app. then they would do it that way. So I think that will definitely be there. I think also we may see the trailer for the second Mario movie, the Super Mario movie 2, that we already know is coming. I'm not going to spoil the ending of the first one because there was something that they showed that may indicate something that's going to be happening in the second movie. But I think that we will also see that because they don't just do video game stuff, they also do like merchandise and apparel. They've already talked about, I believe it was also on their Nintendo Today app. I saw it on social platforms, like social media platforms, that there's, I think it's a Mario and Me app or something like that. It's basically, if you play Mario 64 in that opening screen where you can mess with Mario's face and like, stretch it and do whatnot with it, they made a free Mario app for, I guess, kids to kind of get used to playing with Mario's face as an app, because they know that, a lot of younger kids and parents of the younger kids may not be able to afford a Switch 2 right now, or a Switch 2. It's kind of like, do you really want to buy a $450, $500 system for a little, younger kid who may drop it or break it? So they're not ready for that. So they're trying to do stuff, hopefully, to get that next generation that is so much more into phones and tablets, because it's so much easier parenting wise for a parent to give a child a phone or a tablet that they may have in their possession and say, here, just go play with this and do whatever. And, obviously, safeguard it and whatnot, and make sure the kids can't, order like 30,000 rolls of toilet paper, although, that never goes to waste. So, yeah. So those are two things that I predict that we would see. We may see some more toys or Lego sets. I mean, right now also there is a rumor. I mean, I've seen the rumor. I kind of hate talking about what these rumors are, but it makes sense that we may see Mario Wonder, that came out last year, that was in pretty much all the advertisements for Switch 2 when they talked about backwards compatibility. There may be a Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition that comes out, which basically would have better resolution, better, frame rate, and then also, I think that, no, I don't think there's game share. There's game share on New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, I believe, but there's no game share right now on Mario Wonder. So also I could see when they talked about the development of Mario Wonder, they said because every level basically had a unique, thing that happened once you found the Wonder Seed there. And they said that they had in development hundreds of ideas for Mario Wonder levels. So I could see them doing added levels and worlds for Mario Wonder, or even a Mario Wonder 2, and talk about maybe something like that coming to Switch 2. So I could see them doing that. Also the Mario Galaxy 2, I don't think that they would make that as a Switch 1 game. I think that something like that would be Switch 2. I think. Only because they already, if they want to make it a Mario 4K All-Stars, like I said, You can't do 4K on Switch 1. So that would be definitely a reason to say, hey, this is why this is only Switch 2. And it would be another reason for people to move over to Switch 2, which Nintendo is trying to get everyone over as fast as possible. So yeah, those are my few predictions. I don't think that they're going to go too crazy beyond that. And that if they did a Mario Wonder 2, that could be the big Mario fall game that we have coming out. And that would make sense because right now, Donkey Kong Bonanza is really shaping up to the point where it may get a Game of the Year nomination. And I think Nintendo kind of regrets the fact that they had Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey both up for Game of the Year, and it's kind of like, well, only one can win. So I think Nintendo kind of doesn't want to put out two Game of the Year contenders in the same year and kind of competing against each other, and save it for a Mario 3D game for next year. So yeah, those are my predictions. Like, subscribe, comment below what you do. Do you agree with my predictions? Do you think that there's going to be something different? Have you heard something rumor-wise? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the bell notification to know when I put up my videos, because I am going to try to be a lot more consistent to the point where I'm not putting my videos up as premieres anymore. I'm just going to drop them. Pretty much, if I drop a video, like if you see a video earlier in the day on the East Coast time, before 8 o'clock, then that means I already have a video scheduled for 8 o'clock that day, 8 p.m. So if you see a video before and you're like, oh, I wonder what else he's got coming out, then that's how you know. My priority is videos at 8 p.m. Eastern every day, and then if I have a lot more to say and discuss and just get off my mind and make a video about, and I also have time to do it, and it's, before time, I'm going to aim for 4 p.m. Eastern and then noon Eastern if I also have that. So if you see something noon, then know I'm also going to have something at 4 and 8. And then, yeah, so that's how you'll know what I'm basically set up to do. But if you have the notification thing on, you should get a notification. I've heard that YouTube doesn't like to notify too many times in a 24-hour period. So, yeah. Anyway, you all have a great rest of your day. Later.